Hello and welcome. This is AlchemistExe, and this week in TAGA we have a brand new memento for Saga, Almira, and Melia, and then new Curse Beast quests for Ignacio, Eulalia, and Adelaide. So that's Belphegor, Beelzebub, and Lucifer, and then each character also has some individual upgrades. I don't want to go over them all individually. They seem pretty solid overall. Just general stat boosts are nice, and getting their skills upgraded is also good. So far, to me, nothing has been able to top Nyx's upgrades, like as far as like more debuff utility and the removal of a cast time of a absolutely clutch skill. I don't feel like anybody has gotten an upgrade on that level yet, but nonetheless, everybody who has upgrades does stand to benefit from it. I for one, am happy to be able to use Ignacio a bit more. But let's talk about the memento first. So the main thing, the max limit break bonuses you'll get for the respective characters are going to be agility for Saga, debuff duration +1 for Almira, and then move +1 for Melia. It's going to come with Snowball, and if you max limit break the memento, it'll double from 5 stacks to 10 stacks, and that's going to be P-Attack, Dex, and Speed, which is always nice. And that covers a bunch of different jobs too. They restricted it by job rather than by character. And then another noteworthy thing is that Saga, in addition to damage, will also get buff duration +1, and that is not tied to max limit break. So if Saga is like one of your main characters, you got to have this memento. You don't mind it being expensive, and you're going to get it, but you're short on Saga reliefs, you'll already get a pretty noticeable buff just from that duration increase. So moving on to the VCR, you're going to get Dex +80, Agility +12, Slash Evasion, Pierce Evasion, and Magic Evasion +25, and then Disable Heal Res +50. An interesting thing about this is that Melia, who is a character you might not want to raise or use just because she's a low rarity and doesn't have anything really unique job-wise, she will get a boost for the whole party for healing mod and for all status res, both +20, and she can be in the sub slot to do that. So if you're running something, you're not restricted on the number of units you use. You can use more than 4. You're assuming that you're not going to have any deaths. Well, you can put her in the sub slot, and then you'll have extra healing, extra status res, and that could be really, really useful, especially in a CC heavy map. So you're kind of acknowledging that people probably aren't going to use her much, but nonetheless, you can get some utility there. Almira's going to get, if her HP is above 90%, she'll get a bunch of stat boosts, including auto jewel charge. And then Saga gets a boost to all allied units from Saga just at the start of the map. So overall, good stuff. But my opinion is the same as always when it comes to this type of memento, where it's definitely something you want to try to grab in the long run, but don't feel a rush to grab it now. And then for the other stuff, Genesis protagonists Eulalia, Adelaide, and Ignacio have upgrades. I'll put a link in the description for the news post that contains that, because there's a lot of stuff. Nothing like Nyx tier that I've seen, but it's still good for them to have upgrades. And then 3 more quests for them for Lucifer, Beelzebub, and Belphegor. They weren't too bad overall. I was able to beat Lucifer with my Ignacio, not like no gate 7 or anything like that. That was alright. The Belphegor took a little bit of work for me to be able to auto it just because of some of the map mechanics, but eventually I got it, and having an anti-sloth memento leader skill made a huge difference. So definitely don't discount the sin mods that you can get. But that's all for the intro, so let's go ahead and take a look at the banners. And here we are at the banner. So we'll start with the brand new memento. Same as usual, 9-step with the selector, and Saga's and Almira's Link's mementos are on there too, which I think is a nice touch. Now I can't say too much about Almira Link just because she's one of the few units that came out a while back, like before, you know, the 2024, that I don't have. Like for the selector that we had for the half anniversary, as far as units that I didn't have that I was, you know, really thinking about getting, it was between her and Lil, and I just chose Lil because I want to make like a whole dragon team. But when it comes to Saga, I can say a lot about her, but I won't. I will just simply say I think she's an absolutely excellent unit, because even if her damage by itself isn't always crazy, there's really not much that can go wrong in auto, and because autoing is so important for better and for worse, you could change which damage type she is. So if you need Pierce, you could run her in a Nidhogg Rima kind of setup, or if you need her to be a missile unit, you could do that, and there's plenty of good support for missile units. So just that versatility and the fact that she kind of just stands there and shoots stuff, very, very, very good. So I'll definitely go to bat for Saga. Doesn't mean you should get this memento, but it definitely keep an eye on it in more gem efficient banners. Aside from that, there's really not much else. I can say the same thing that I said last time about the Genesis banners, in that they're around for a while, so they're discount ticket insurance if nothing else. I do think it is good if you're using a discount ticket and you can get 200 Genesis coins, if Genesis coins are valuable to you. I mean, I only have, out of all of these units, I think the only two where I have all of their gates maxed are Nimble and Nyx. And that's it. Everybody else could stand to gain some shards. So if you're like me, these coins most likely still have value. So keep your eye on them if nothing else works. There's also this banner, which is in a vacuum really, really good. Just because of the unit pool is quite good. The coins that you can get, as always in this kind of case, the coins are really going to be the deciding factor. Like if you've got an easy 1,000 use for 1,000 of these coins, even after all the coins that we've already gotten, the banners that have already given them, etc., you still got characters, maybe you haven't even touched them yet, so they're still at their base 5 per shard, then yeah, I could see going for this being worthwhile, but it is still a pretty big commitment. But if you're gonna do it, you might as well have something that also comes with a big selector and a guarantee on step 4 too, especially if there's still units in this group that you don't have yet. There's definitely very, very good pool though overall. But the context of being right after the 8.5 celebration, it does diminish it a little bit, because odds are if you wanted or needed one of these units badly enough that you'd be willing to do this banner in the first place, the odds that you would have already gotten them another way is going to be fairly decent. Now, there is one more banner I do want to talk about that easily could be worthwhile. If I can find it. Oh, there it is. Okay, this one. So, say the dust has settled from the 8.5 celebration. You got the memento. Maybe you really needed Logi or Dios. So with the memento selector, you did that. Maybe you were chasing units or soul shards more than you were chasing mementos. And you're a really big user of Lindrake, you love Lindrake, but you don't have his second memento. This you can guarantee in 5 steps. And I think if you're somebody who has a maxed out Lindrake, but for fortune has not smiled on you, you don't have that second memento, I 100% think this is worth it. You could stagger it so you use discount tickets on it as they come in, because it's also around for the same amount of time as the Genesis banners, so it's fairly inexpensive. But just the sheer amount of utility it provides, boosting his counterattack, all the extra stats. You know, he might have been power crept overall in damage because of Kamui, but overall Lindrake is really a unit that's worth having just for his sheer value in PvE content. So if that somewhat specific scenario I described applies to you, then this could be a very, very good banner. Doubly so if you don't have some of the other mementos on here like Nimbles or Souls. I guess /Eins. Oh, but just keep in mind that the memento here for Eins, it's not really helpful for Eins Link, so just something to think about. But yeah, that is all I've really got to say this week, fairly quick. So if you are summoning this week, I wish you good luck, and I will see you all next time.